Hello everyone, this is Karen Jean Lowe with Simpatico, and I thought today would be interesting to talk about the disconnected self. Now, we often hear the term being disconnected to almost everything these days. We're connected highly with the internet and social media, but we are becoming frantically disconnected from each other, and I think everyone would agree with that. What might happen though, as we become more disconnected? We lose who we truly are. And one thing I can promise you about this world is it's always going to try to make you somebody else. So, how would we go about understanding when we're losing sight of ourselves? What are some of the symptoms that show up? I know many times addiction raises its ugly head. We start to be obsessive, compulsive about things. It doesn't matter what you like to do repeatedly over and over to the point of addiction. Whatever the habit is or the behavior, that is not necessarily that important. What's really important in the disconnected self is not the behavior, but why we do it. The person that is caught up in addictive behavior is usually someone who just wants to be happy. They're seeking some form of gratification because they're uncomfortable in their own skin. They might be lost or lost their way of who they are. And so I call that a spiritual disconnect. And when I say spiritual, it's such a broad term, I even hate to use it. I'm not talking about a deity or an understanding of anything with the dogma-based ideas. What I'm talking about is the connection to the meaning of life to that person. What makes that person, as soon as their feet hit the floor in the morning, when they want to get going on their day because they have a purpose, they have a direction, and they feel good about who they are. This is a person that I call connected. They're connected to their spiritual selves. So this is the connection that we all are seeking. And it wanes and waxes. Some days I feel very connected, and other days I'm just kind of, moping around and lacking a little bit of direction. And so I try to go within myself to reconnect. Now, what often keeps us disconnected is toxic shame. This is an emotion that creeps in the sideboards of our thinking, and often accompanied with wishful thinking, wishing you were taller, thinner, prettier, smarter, had a better mate, a better situation in life, whatever it is. I can guarantee you one thing. If you want a formula to be dissatisfied, just think about everything you're not, and just before you go to bed at night, say, you know what? Let's see, what was all the things that you failed at today, that you didn't accomplish, that you should have done, should have said, and start shoulding on yourself. And in no time at all, you'll have the negative emotions that'll catapult you in to wanting to fill that toxic shame with something, whether it's a brownie, a glass of whiskey, whatever it might be. I can't think of a quicker formula for any kind of dissatisfied thinking than to decide that we're not good enough. So trying to be connected with the self should be probably on your top list for emotional hygiene. And how we do that is we get to know ourselves. We form a relationship with who we are, which means we're going to have to accept our vulnerabilities, our failures, our fears, because we're human. Just accept those. You can move through them then. They're just trying to alert us to our emotional needs. And that's what our emotions are here for. They're trying to alert us to what we should be doing, how we're doing in life. Our emotions are on our side. So if we learn to take those emotions, drop the toxic shame emotion, accept who we are, and move on. Go ahead, feel that pain. Feel the fact that, you might not be totally satisfied with yourself. It might change tomorrow. One thing about emotions, they don't stay. They morph into other emotions. They return sometimes. Sometimes they don't. So you need to know one thing I always tell everyone: you're in control. You are the one that decides how you're going to feel and think. So, addictive thinking, it's pretty common. We can easily arrive there by being dissatisfied with ourselves, not having a true spiritual connection to the meaning of who we are, what our purpose is in life, what we'd like to do, not being able to recognize our values and our gifts. These are all concerns, and these are questions we should be asking ourselves. Uh, Spend some time with getting to know you. You'd be surprised how really wonderful and unique you are. There is nobody like you on the face of the earth.